Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about new phone systems and voice over IP. The mission of our workshops is to help you get more from the technology you already have and also introduce you to the new technologies you need to know about. And we're constantly researching technology behind the scenes, trying to identify best in breed and let you know what's out there and what might help your business. All our calls we set them up as listen only, and that's if you need to leave the call or take another call, put it on hold. We're not all going to hear the hold music, so it's for call clarity. If you do have questions, email info@ecar.com. We'll try to include Q&A. Also, give us a call at 978-692-4200 with questions. All right, so jumping into this, if this picture looks familiar, then it's probably time for you to be thinking about a new phone system. This is phone system wiring that's up on a wall. This would be in your network closet where your internet connection comes in. You might have a server there, router, switch, and all that. This is another picture just to show you if your technology looks old, you're probably not getting the best of what you could have for your business. So in this case, the wires are all neat, but these are wires that come in from your phone system and then get routed out to your office. And then kind of an old handset, the Meridian system was kind of the benchmark for small businesses. There's a lot of new technology out there, and it's time to explore options. So first, some terminology. PBX stands for Private Branch Exchange. And that's what allows you to switch calls. Basically, your phone lines come into your office, and then you can switch them to your different extensions, pass calls around. So it's like basically the switchboard technology that runs your local phone system. So the traditional way of doing things is you probably have a bunch of lines from Verizon. And even for a small business, you might have 4 lines. They get to be expensive. Maybe you're trying to figure out, okay, well, I'm going to have unlimited calls on these 2 lines. Those are outbound, these are inbounds, but invariably that's tough to manage. It winds up getting very expensive. You might have a hunt group. You also have a limited number of simultaneous calls. So if you have 4 phone lines, you can have 4 simultaneous phone conversations. Now, that can limit you. When that 5th call comes in, you're not going to be able to take that call. So the new model, it's not even that new because this has been the way business has been going for years, is to leverage your internet connection. And that's where the phrase VoIP comes in, voice over IP, voice over internet protocol. Basically what that means is that your voice data is traveling over an internet protocol as opposed to the plain old telephone lines. So today, your network, this is just sort of a straw man of a network, but your phones are basically just another device on your network. So you might have a couple of phones hanging on your network, some printers, laptops, PCs, and all of these go out to the internet. So the cloud is the network diagram for the internet. So all of these devices, basically, to us as network professionals, it's just another device on your system. And the lines are really blurred now. When we started out years ago, there were phone people and there were network people, and now it's kind of blurred together. So some of the things to think about, you need to switch those calls when they come in, and you can have a PBX that's either on-premise or in the cloud. And there's a couple of trade-offs to think about there is if you have multiple offices, if you have folks who work from home, if you want to move extensions around, the cloud gives you a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of hype about the cloud. We get asked about it all the time. There's some applications that really make sense to run in the cloud. So we try to cut through the hype. Running your PBX in the cloud gives you a lot of flexibility. You can also run that PBX locally, purchase the equipment, and run it in-house. It's not going to look like those crazy wiring boards. It's basically going to look like another network switch, just another box on your rack. The other thing, but about having multiple offices, that if you do have an on-premise PBX, then you need to maintain VPN lines between your offices, which gets to be just an unnecessary complication. So with voice over IP, there are a lot of choices. If you go on Google and you Google business phones or voice over IP, you're going to run into so many different choices. It's kind of wild. Here's some of the major brands that are out there. There's a lot more. All of them run kind of on the same underlying technology. So there's a lot of choices out there. We go out and we research best in breed. We get called in a lot. If somebody's getting a new phone system, then there's always something to do on the firewall. Or we'll get a call, oh, gee, the inbound calls work, the outbound calls don't work. We need to open up the firewall. And in some cases, maybe the phone vendor comes in and just takes away all your security settings on the firewall and said, hey, now everything works. And, oh, by the way, your security's all gone. So no matter what, we wind up getting involved with the network piece. And years ago, we were kind of neutral on this, and as just the lines have blurred more and more, we do have a preferred vendor, and that's Jive Communications. And in researching everything that's out there, this is our preferred vendor. We support everything, but when people ask us for a recommendation, this is what our recommendation is. They pass a test of 10,000 plus customers, #1 rating for support and reliability. And this is what we use in-house. We switched over about a year and a half ago, and more and more clients are expressing interest in it. A lot of big companies are using Jive as well. So they kind of pass all the tests of having the features we want to see, very reliable, strong company, and that's why we recommend them. In terms of handsets, you have a lot of choices of handsets. There's a lot of major brands out there. We like the Polycom systems. You have a wide range of choices running from very high-end executive phone handsets, you have the conference speaker phones, and also relatively inexpensive basic office handsets. As much as we love technology, we're also pretty conservative about what we roll out. So when we moved off of our Cisco phone system, and that phone system would have run forever, but we kind of outgrew the number of lines that were coming in, so we had to look at something new. And one thing I loved about Jive, again, we were flooded with all the information out there, is that all the features are included. So a lot of things, and we'll show some extra features later on, but a lot of things that you have to pay for as add-ons with other systems are just included with Jive, and I really like that. And then the contracts are month to month. That was also very attractive. So this is what a basic handset looks like. This is a Polycom system. This is my handset on my desk. Has all the basic modern features. I also usually connect a headset to it. Standard features that are going to be in every modern voice over IP system. You have voicemail to email, ring groups. So in our office, we want to take the live call. It rings on many desktops at once. Virtual fax, three-way conferencing, all the things that you would expect, the dial by directory, extension dialing, dial by name. Another nice feature is the direct inward dial. So we have extra phone numbers so that when one of the engineers in the field, if they need to reach me directly and straight to me, I have a special phone number that it's kind of an artificial phone number. It's called a DID. And that's a direct line to me, so they don't have to go through, talk to somebody else, and then they transfer the call to my extension. The other nice thing is the presence monitoring, so I can see on my handset that somebody else is on the line. And so for a basic Polycom handset, you get a lot of different features, and these are all enabled through software, by the way. And another nice feature is the intercom. So if we need to make an announcement in the office, I can do that directly from my handset. The speaker on everybody's phone will respond to it. The other neat thing, though, about having the PBX in the cloud is that my handset's flexible. I can actually just take this handset off of our network and plug it in. If I wanted to, I could bring this home with me. We have some clients who will take extended time in the good weather of Florida for the winter. You can take your handset with you. Just Very flexible. Wherever you have an internet connection, if you have remote workers, you don't have to do a big complicated VPN to connect them back into your network. If they have an internet at home, they can connect their phone right away. But taking it one step further, there's actually an application that will run on your smartphone. So this is my app on my phone right next to my Starbucks app. I just pull that up, and now my smartphone will act exactly like the handset in my office. So I can receive calls and send and create calls seamlessly from my smartphone. So for example, if we get hit with a blizzard tomorrow and we need snow coverage, I don't have to worry about switching over phones or forwarding or doing anything. I've got basically my handsets with me all the time. In terms of voicemail, you get the classic red light flashing on the phone. I also get email notification. I can retrieve my voicemail online if I'd like. And another neat feature that we like, so now we get into some things that differentiate that why we chose Jive as our preferred partner versus the others, is this visual plan editor is really neat. I'm showing you one little segment of how a call plan works, but this is so intuitive that you can go in, maybe train one or two people at your site. You can change this at any time. So for example, if a call comes in, the first thing we do is we manage it against a schedule. This is during our regular business hours, and we have it ring for 15 seconds. Our philosophy is we want to take all calls live, and that's a big part of what Hikaru does. We want to maintain that personal touch and not have a phone tree when people call in. But if we can't get that call live, then it will go to the auto attendant where you could pick an extension, do dial by name, do all that classic stuff. And then we have a couple of shortcuts to, one goes to Nancy and 2 goes to help desk and 3, etc. So you can have a couple of shortcuts in there as well. And this is just one segment. This thing scans out. You can really get interesting with how your call plans work. This is the basic schedule that we call up. Is pretty much 7:30 to 5:30 is what we publish as our standard business hours. We're in here at 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday, and that's how we route our calls. After hours, it will go to that auto attendant, so you don't have to ring for 15 seconds before you get it. Again, you just kind of drag this. You don't have to type stuff in. You don't have to program it. It's all visual, and that's one of the things I really loved about this system. Another thing is call queue. This is one of the features that really attracted me to this system. We actually don't use it yet, and we probably will incorporate this. We've kept things really simple, but you can route calls into a queue where folks can elect, instead of just going to voicemail, they can hang in line on that queue. You can have messages, you can have your marketing messages. So you can see you can program in, you can have a timeout if you want. You can have a periodic announcement message, which could be, maybe a marketing message or we're going to get to you. So what's neat about this is just included in the basic package. So it's not an ad. You don't have to pay an add-on for the phone app, the mobile app. You don't pay an add-on for the call center. You get all the sophisticated programming just included, which I thought was very attractive. And kind of the last major feature is all the reporting. Very visual, easy to run reports. I'm really analytical, and this could be really helpful in business if you want to know what time of day is your highest call volume, how many calls do you get on average per hour, what calls are going to which extension. It's pretty neat. You can slice the data so many different ways. It's kind of fun. So you can see like a time of day graph. We try to get all calls live, so we have about 3% of calls going to voicemail, but that probably includes our weekends and after hours. So we can kind of test ourselves against our goals. Really powerful. Each business is different what you want to do with this, but you have the call logs from each line. You can calculate the number of minutes on each line. If you need extra staffing during a certain time of day, this data is going to tell you that. Very, very powerful. All right, so with that, kind of went through the main features. We try to keep these sessions short and focused. If you're thinking about a new system in 2017, we strongly suggest that you just schedule a demo and see what's possible for your system. Our preferred vendor is Jive. There are a lot of good choices out there. We would recommend, if you're thinking at all for 2017, that you schedule a demo and you can actually see, this would be with a Jive engineer to see exactly what it might be able to do for you. And if you haven't looked at phone systems in many years, you're going to be amazed at what's possible. So with that, I want to thank everyone for joining us. Please connect with us on social media. We have our blog. We do a lot of training there. Twitter is where we post all our news headlines that are relevant to small business technology. If you like Facebook, we have a business page on there as well. However you like to get your information, we have a lot of different choices. And please call us anytime with questions. Thank you very much for joining us.